welcome to episode 6 of the Ruthless Aggression podcast.
Welcome to SmackDown.
My name is Levi.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we're a married couple that talks about wrestling. This week we're talking about WWE SmackDown from July 4th, 2002. But first, I just realized the other day we're kind of inadvertently keeping pace. Like it's currently, July 7th?
Yeah. It's
so
timed really well.
We just had our 4th. So how was your 4th?
It was good. We went camping. It's actually been a pretty busy week. We went camping. We did the 4th things. We didn't watch any fireworks, but that's usually not our kind of evening. So we did some camping, and then we watched Money in the Bank because that was over this weekend too.
I will say July 4th annoys me because it's always on like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And so we do our thing like the weekend before or the weekend after, but no fireworks for us most of the time.
Just give it, 1, 2, 3, 4 more years and it'll be back on the weekend.
Yep. For like 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 years. And then we're back to 5 years of inconvenience.
The glory years. But we didn't get to watch Money in the Bank because we were camping. So we had to catch up when we got home.
Yeah, if you stick around, I think we're going to talk about SmackDown from 2002 first, and then at the end, we'll give our sort of belated thoughts on Money in the Bank from this past weekend. Yeah. Before we get to that, we do have some exciting developments for the podcast. Oh, do we?
I feel like I'm part of the audience.
We're on social media. We have a social media presence now. So if you want to follow us on Instagram or Threads, the new thing, Instagram's new Threads.
Yeah.
Aren't they? They're sort of associated with Instagram. But anyway.
I'm not on the bandwagon.
And we've been on YouTube as well. And all 3 of those, it's at Ruthless Aggression. So go follow us. You can see some clips from our shows. Been playing around with Threads a lot today, I guess. Last couple days.
Okay. I think this is a good example of maybe the duality of our personalities. We have the cutting edge of technology. We're on the cusp. We're developing. We're looking at new things over on that side of the table. On this side of the table, we prefer more Stone Age developments, taking the slow path.
You're still on MySpace, right?
If there were a decent amount of people there, I might. Didn't it? At one point, it came around and it became a thing again. But unfortunately, no, I'm not on MySpace. But
you think I'm in your top 8 still?
I would put you there.
Yeah.
You, Wally, maybe like a few family members, a few friends. Yeah, I could make 8.
Yeah. Well, I'm liking Threads so far. So recommend that if you're into Twitter-like thing that's kind of just brand new. It came out like a week ago. I don't know. It's very similar to Twitter, but it's like more low-key somehow.
It's cool.
I guess so. It feels like I don't know. Maybe it's exciting because it's like a new thing that people aren't really on yet. So maybe the effect will wear off, but I think it's pretty cool so far.
Is it just another app to like repost TikToks on?
No, it's not really video based. It's text based.
Oh, okay. I thought I saw pictures on them.
You can, but it's not really it's not like Reels or something like that.
Okay. Well.
Anyway, check us out on those. We also have an email address.
Oh.
ruthlessregressionwwe@gmail.com.
Okay. If you're in our 60 and up population.
Well, I was thinking if you have any questions that you want us to address on the podcast.
Oh, Lord.
Maybe we'll Maybe we can do a mailbag segment one of these days.
Okay.
If we get enough emails.
Yeah.
So.
We could do Wally's mailbag.
Yeah. Wally can be, our dog can be the sponsor of the segment.
We won't bring him in until we have mail to open.
There we go. That's a good sweetener there.
Yeah.
If we get enough questions,
yeah. We'll let you see our dog.
We just need like 5, maybe 3 questions.
Yeah.
We'll bring Wally on the show for his debut appearance.
Question 1: why did you think this was a good idea? No. We can dive deeper into the questions.
So that's Ruthless Regression WWE at gmail.com. So send us some emails.
Couldn't cop the Ruthless Regression.
Don't rub it in. Who got to that first? I got it on all the other socials. Somebody got it for. Somebody has everything on Gmail. I don't get it.
Yeah, they're just waiting for you to like email them and be like, "Hey, we were wanting to buy that for like $1,000."
Probably. Yeah. We could have gotten like a Hotmail address, I guess, but.
People are about to get really confused and start sending emails to ruthlessregression at gmail.com, and that guy that's been sitting on it for like 20 years is going to be like, damn, what's going on? A bunch of wrestling questions. Anyway,
are we ready to talk some actual wrestling?
I'm ready.
Okay, so we are in Boston, Massachusetts on July 4th. So it was on a Thursday this time, so not really any better than a Tuesday.
Yeah. I'm sure some really genius could do like the reverse math for how many years ago that was. Oh, wait, it was 2002.
Yeah, only a genius. Only a genius. We'll never know how long ago.
It was 21 years ago.
Don't strain yourself.
I'm at the limits of my mental capacity. Okay, yes, 21 years ago.
21?
Yeah, we're in 20.
Yeah, you're right. We've had a couple of glasses of wine.
I feel like you're about to gaslight me on what year we're in right now.
Okay.
21 years ago, SmackDown, Thursday night, Boston, Massachusetts. And right off the bat, we get a little recap of Edge's injury. Mm-hmm. So flashing back to last week, we saw him return and take out Jericho, saving Hogan in his match. We find out that apparently he tore up his shoulder against Kurt Angle in what looked like a cage match at some point. Kind of did a dive off the rope and like just landed on it wrong. Mm-hmm. But yeah, now Edge is back. That's kind of we're going to see plenty more of Edge this episode. Edge, man, he has been going forever. I mean, we just watched him tonight.
We just watched him wrestle tonight.
Yeah.
On SmackDown, coincidentally. So very much a coincidence.
Yeah. I love his long hair. Love the look.
I agree. I wish he still had it.
Yeah.
He did until like a couple years ago. He shaved it off.
I don't mind the short hair, but like this younger Edge with the long hair, he just looks so strong.
Yeah, he's got the beach blonde look, like the surfer dude.
Yeah. Even
though he's from Canada, I believe.
Okay. Now, here's something I wanted to ask because I don't remember things. So Edge's special move is the spear, right?
One of them, yeah.
Goesn't Roman Reigns do a spear too?
It's a pretty common move.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, like Edge, Goldberg.
Oh, okay.
The Rhino. I can name like probably 10 guys.
Oh, I'm sorry. Pause. There's a wrestler named Rhino.
Yeah, we may encounter him. I think he was more of a Attitude Era guy.
Okay.
Actually, he was kind of tied up with Edge at one point. So.
And he has a horn on his forehead, I'm hoping?
No.
Oh.
But he spears people, so he's kind of a rhino in that way.
That is a big missed opportunity. You good over there?
Yeah.
Okay.
This mic. Okay. Speaking of technical issues, random, but if you've noticed our YouTube woes, our camera woes, we're on our third attempt at a camera, and hopefully I'm just using my phone at this point. So hopefully we'll get through a whole episode and not have to put in the technical difficulties screen. But anyway, we are working through some stuff on the video front.
Did you use the cat hanging by the...
hanging in there?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No.
Next time.
Hopefully there won't be a next time, but yeah.
Yeah. We're just figuring things out. It's okay. We're young and blissfully unaware of technical savviness.
Well, I feel like I should be tech savvy, but...
No, it's okay. I'll forgive you.
Okay. So we got Jillian Garcia up next singing the national anthem. That was actually a pretty good rendition.
Yeah, it was fine.
For a song that we've heard a million times, I thought it was done pretty well. But she gets interrupted by those dastardly Canadians.
They go on like a rampage of anti-American talking points.
It was so long. I was just like...
So much so that I was like, wow, this would be like, I feel like really controversial in like today's day and age. I mean, they were talking about like...
If it wasn't Canada, it's just like if it was any other country, it'd be like, okay, this is real heel stuff. Still don't understand why Canada of all countries was the one they picked. But they go on some points where you're like, damn, they spitting some truth. Like, so we hit Vietnam. They said that people probably thought about Will Smith and the movie Independence Day, saving the world from aliens.
Yeah. That Americans are a bunch of hypocrites and just all this stuff. I'm like, ooh, it's almost relevant. I
just can't get over that no one interrupted them. Even Rikishi, who's up next against Lance Storm, he just just waited in the back, like, no, just let him finish.
Just give me a signal when he wraps up. Yeah,
so he finally comes out after they're done, and they say America sucks, which,
yeah, they don't have a lot of fire underneath that argument. They're just out there just hammering into everything they can.
I don't see this lasting long.
Yeah.
It's neither like good heel work, and it's also not that funny.
Yeah.
It's just dumb.
Yeah.
But alas.
It was surprising that he went up against Rikishi, because you would think like being July 4th, American, patriotism, whatever. And then to put him up against Rikishi, I'm like, okay.
I agree. I actually looked this up. Rikishi is American. He was born in San Francisco.
Sure,
but he is billed from the Samoan Islands, so he's not exactly. At least his character is not American.
Right.
I guess Kurt Angle's tied up in other things.
Yeah, Kurt Angle's busy. He's probably the most American, whatever.
Yeah. Other than
stereotypically,
like John Cena, like 5 years from now. But
unfortunately, we weren't there yet.
All they had was Rikishi, and he was just like, I got no beef with anybody here. I've got a match.
We got fireworks and hot dogs later. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Yeah. But I thought it was a pretty good match for, I've mentioned this in the past, like for a small guy and a bigger guy. I think sometimes it's a little hard to sell it.
Rikishi versus Lance Storm.
Yeah. But it was pretty good. Lance, I thought, fought a little bit better than I expected. I don't know. You may disagree.
We got like 5 close-ups of Rikishi's ass.
There was a lot of butt shots.
I couldn't focus.
A lot of butt shots. But in between the butt shots, he fought pretty good. It was a decent match. Give it like a 6 out of 10.
I'll take your word for it.
Okay. Did you just stop looking?
Yeah, I mean, just the ass close-ups is very distracting. But
yeah,
Test interferes with a boot to Rikishi, and then Lance Storm wins. And that's that. We got John Cena backstage after his big debut last week. Mm-hmm. Actually, Stacy Keibler goes to the locker room and basically just says that Cena's wanted in Vince's office. So, little teaser for something to come in a moment.
Go to the principal's office. Now, did it just immediately go to John Cena? I couldn't remember. I know that.
No, it was like
this little in between clip.
I think Mark Henry answered the door,
and
then Mark Henry went to get Cena. Yeah.
It was
I
a
don't
little
know.
weird little intercession moment there, but
little nuance there.
John Cena in green. Love the color. That is his color.
It's interesting. I don't remember what he wore last week. But
red. It was those little red and I think black, maybe little boxer short type things. But I think just with his complexion and his coloring, I guess, green just pops on him, I think.
Well, don't get too used to it, because if you'll notice, he will wear like whatever the hometown sports team color is. So since he was in Boston, he wore green.
I see. Play into the crowd.
Yes.
Okay.
Play into the crowd.
But doesn't he, I mean, like years later, isn't green his thing?
It is. I would say like that's kind of the color he landed on.
Yeah. But
of course, that he is from the area, as we'll get into in a minute. Okay.
So as I was watching that, it's interesting to see a wrestler wear something different every week, because it's not typically what they do. They wear either the same thing or a variation of the same thing within the same color scheme. Question: what costuming, color, details, designer options would you wear as a wrestler?
So like the whole costume?
The whole I'm talking hairstyle. I'm talking face paint, if any. I'm talking, do we have a top, or are we going shirtless with the briefs, pants?
Definitely not. I'm not gonna go out there looking like I'm in my underwear. First of all.
Okay, so you're not a briefs man.
No, I'm gonna say it's somewhere between. And it's funny you ask, because I did create a character on WWE 2K like a few months ago, and it kind of ended up being like a mix between like Undertaker, American Badass, and Edge, probably, and probably leaning a little closer to Edge, honestly, like Rated R Superstar, just with the long tights, the like cool designs, big like leather jacket or something, maybe some sunglasses, the long hair, the cool guy. I think.
Okay, play it cool. You more of like a black, purple, red color scheme kind of guy,
for sure. Like Edge and Undertaker, sort of hybrid, probably.
Okay, interesting. I'll have to do a little illustration one of these days. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Like a caricature, but in wrestling costumes.
Totally. Yeah. Halloween.
That's true. That's the real life version of that.
Moving on, we've got our second week in a row of some Batista and Randy Orton action. Another tag team, Devon and Batista versus Orton and the Big Lebowski. So Orton's got another teammate. Kind of the same result as last week. Really.
Balbowski.
Lebowski.
I think it's Balbowski.
I've heard it both ways. I think it's one of those things.
I see.
But yeah.
That's what the announcer said whenever we couldn't figure out how to pronounce it. Was the Batista and Reverend pairing, was that determined but we kind of went over the episode where Batista came out first, right? How did he get paired up with the Reverend guy? I don't even remember.
Pre Ruthless Aggression, he came out with Devon as like Devon's playing the Reverend, so Batista was just kind of like his enforcer, and I don't remember what they called him. He was called like Deacon Batista, I think.
Okay.
So he came out kind of in like a tight dress shirt, carried around a little collection box.
Okay.
So it was real.
Okay. I was trying to figure out what the origin of that was.
Themed around that. I'm guessing the idea was pair this young guy Batista with an older vet.
Yeah. Okay.
And learn the ropes. I don't think it lasts very long, but I think that was the intention. I will say Randy Orton is so athletic at this point. Like when he does a drop kick, he's like 7 feet up in the air.
Yeah. Him. I mean, forget about Reverend and Balbowski. Forget about them. Like, I know it was a tag team match, but you might next, Batista and Randy Orton were bomb.
A lot more of those two this time.
Yes.
Instead of the teammates, like you said.
Batista is a big hunking man. I love to watch that body move.
He's an animal.
And Randy Orton's pretty cool too. Even though I continue to forget who he is with hair. At some point that will stick. But
both of these guys kind of. Well, actually, Batista's bald, but then is he bald in this match?
I mean, if not bald, shaved very close.
Shaved.
Yeah.
I think he'll grow his hair out, and then eventually they'll both go bald again. So
I don't know about that, but I thought that was a really enjoyable match. Very good wrestlers.
Yep. Batista via the spine buster. Batista continues to look like an unbeatable monster, which it was kind of interesting because he was really the lesser of the two as far as like perceived potential. Because Randy Orton was like we've talked about this a little bit, but he's the son of a wrestler, Cowboy Bob Orton. He was kind of perceived as like the next guy. He was very young at this point, but they were kind of grooming him from an early age. So, but we'll see how that evolves.
They fight really well together. Good pairing.
Now we've got our Vince backstage segment. At first, it's just Jericho and Vince. They are talking about, what ends up happening. Well, they're talking about last week with Edge, and basically we get a new match set up for Vengeance. We've got Chris Jericho versus Edge. Cena comes in as requested, goes for the handshake on Jericho. Jericho doesn't want any of it, gets smacked hard. Like, I don't know if they talked about this. I assume they did before. He gets smacked hard.
Yeah.
And after the commercial break, we get another match set for tonight. We're going to see the rookie Cena versus Chris Jericho.
Yeah. I continue. I'm going to not harp, I guess, but reiterate a point that I made that I still think rings true here. I know you somewhat disagreed with me last time. What I am really enjoying about going backwards is they do such a good job of setting up the matches for this show, reviewing last show's episodes, and then as the show progresses, setting up next episode's show. And I've been trying to pay more attention to it with more recent, like present day wrestling shows that we've been watching, because you said that you disagree with me, and I think I'm correct.
Correct in what?
In that the in-between scenes, the face-to-faces, like this one, like you know what I'm saying, the vignettes.
You mean the backstage promos?
The backstage stuff, interviews, whatever.
Segments, yeah.
Do so much to explain things that I just don't think we have in present day. It really adds a component that I'm enjoying that I don't feel like we get with present day wrestling.
We'll revisit this for sure.
Okay. I look forward to hearing your case.
I still disagree with you. I think they still do this most of the time. But now
they do. I'm not done. Let me beat this horse a little bit longer. They do, but with like either segments that are not meant to be in the same timeline as of the episode, or they'll do like recaps, but they'll have the announcers give you that information instead of having it presented as an interview or a vignette.
No, they do they do the interviews. No, you're just wrong.
Okay. We'll hold court one day.
Yeah.
I'll present my evidence.
Exhibit A.
Yeah. Okay. I look forward to defeating you in court.
In tribal court?
In tribal court, yes. Okay. I beat the horse. Moving on.
Got another backstage segment with Angle, Kurt Angle. Really thought he was great in this segment. Really entertaining. Talked about how last week he had the flu, which is how he explained kind of having a difficult time with Cena. Says he's feeling fine tonight with his match against the Undertaker for the championship later on tonight. They show a little flashback to some of his highlights where he pinned the Undertaker a couple of weeks ago, made Hulk Hogan tap. All this stuff, and then he does this rhyme that I can't even remember, but it was very funny.
I thought it was great that he was narrating his own highlights. I've never really seen that, and it just added comedy to it. I thought it was really funny.
I don't know where he got all of this charisma. It's insane. He was just made. He was made for this.
I totally agree, and that's been a real surprise to me. And we can go into detail more as we get to the final match. But I am loving Kurt Angle.
Welcome to the club.
I mean, that's really unexpected. Up until we started going back and watching these episodes, I was like, I don't even know who Kurt Angle is. I don't know what he looks like. I don't know anything about him. I'm like, he's fine. He's this bald guy, and whatever. I am really enjoying it. Like, he's got it all, and he's an Olympic medalist.
He's got everything, and
I'm a fan.
Let's talk about it a little more toward the end of the show because we've got a good match coming up.
Yes.
We've got Billy and Chuck backstage, the current tag team champs. They're putting the belts on the line up next. They're just eating some hot dogs on the 4th of July, and Rico is not impressed.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird little segment of them eating hot dogs. It's like, okay, you're just gonna...
A little homoerotic for some reason.
Some might say queer baiting in a little bit of a way. But
I think that was we haven't seen much of them in this series, but I think that was kind of their thing. Is kind of blurring the lines a little bit.
Yeah, distasteful.
Yeah.
In like a baiting kind of way. Yeah. Anyway.
But we do have a match up next with them and Edge and Hulk Hogan, the newly minted tag team, for the tag team belts. Mm-hmm. We've got Hulk Hogan coming out to Real American, his OG entrance song for the 4th of July. Because last week he was doing more of the Hollywood Hulk Hogan thing. So they switched it up and brought that back. He's got the American flag.
How many iterations of Hulk have there been?
I mean, you got the original Hulkamania.
That's the yellow and then pink kind of thing?
Well, yellow and red.
Oh.
It's really just that and Hollywood Hulk Hogan, or NWO Hulk Hogan. Mm-hmm. In this one, there's really not too many. I guess, I mean, there are technicalities. I think there was like a Mr. America thing, but largely just 2.
Yeah, I'm not on the Hulk train. Maybe if we go back far enough.
I will say the crowd is absolutely going nuts for
I don't
Hulk.
understand it. Even when we go to like modern day matches, when we went to Raw the other month, they had Hulk Hogan signs. They were Hulkamaniaing it out. I missed that train. We got to circle back to that one at some point.
You could say though that Hulk was like the original megastar of WWE. I mean, some people will say like Andre the Giant was the first big star, but he wasn't mainstream. Like Hulk Hogan was the first guy that like everybody, even whether you were a wrestling fan or not, you knew his name.
Was it like a mic skills kind of thing?
It was everything, just like his in-ring persona, the theme song, the persona, the moves.
Okay.
The hulking up. He just kind of nailed what people wanted from wrestling.
Okay.
At that time, and then it just became his thing.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Of course, that was before my time, but from what I've seen, there's a big build up to the Hulk tag because we kind of have Hulk in there for a minute, then Edge for a while, slows down, big build up to the Hulk tag. And again, the crowd is absolutely going nuts. Like, I don't think anybody is drawing this reaction at this time. Like maybe The Rock will see him next week.
Finally.
Finally. But it may be Stone Cold, but Hulk Hogan's up there. He's still a megastar at this point.
Between the balding hair and the bleach blonde mustache with the dark in between beard, it's just a weird look. But
it's a weird look, but like at this point, he's ascended from what's normal.
Yeah.
He made the skullet famous. He made it work. He made the handlebar work. Like, it's just him. He just wears that persona. So
Yeah. I thought I was trying to think of what the move was called, where you lift somebody up on your shoulders and like you kind of spin, lift, and drop. I think that's a suplex, isn't it? Or is the suplex where you hold and throw them over?
Are we still talking about this match or?
Well, yeah. I made a note of wanting to be suplexed, and now I don't even remember what a suplex is.
There are different kinds of suplexes. It's basically just when you grab somebody and like throw them.
Okay.
Like a German suplex is kind of like the Heimlich maneuver, and you just throw them backwards. And there's the belly to belly suplex, where it's the other way. Things like that.
Okay.
Let's get to the finish of this match.
Okay.
Pretty interesting. You got Edge and Hogan doing the famous combo of Hogan's moves. The boot, the big boot, and then the leg drop. They do it at the same time. Well, the leg drop was one after the other, and we have new champions, new tag team champions. This new tag team of Edge and Hulk Hogan on July 4th. Very fitting.
Really weird pairing. I couldn't see that lasting very long. I guess we'll see, but
it's always interesting when they put these like crowd service duos together, because it's like, well, how are you gonna pull this apart?
Yeah.
Either somebody's gonna have to turn heel, and it's not gonna be Hogan, or it's gonna have to be some other.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do, or they're like, how are they gonna lose it? Like, how is Hulk Hogan gonna lose the tag team titles?
Yeah, and then you gotta play the whole injury card. It's a weird pairing.
We'll see how that plays out, but totally crowd service for July 4th.
Yeah.
I think.
The match was okay for me. It didn't do a whole lot for me.
We've got Chris Jericho versus John Cena.
Now this one, they were hyped to do this one. I mean, they were clotheslining left and right, like just slamming each other in the mat.
And John Cena actually has a song this week.
Yeah.
That he came out to.
But that's not his.
It's not.
Nah,
it's not any of his iconic ones. But it's better than just the generic SmackDown theme.
Yeah, he's like 1% more developed this episode.
But yeah, I think Cena still looks like a veteran in the ring.
Yeah, he fights well.
Yeah.
I started laughing to myself looking at Jericho. I wanted to see if you had any knowledge of this. Many years ago, when you wanted to dye your hair but your parents wouldn't let you, as a young woman, you would boil water and add a mix of Kool-Aid powder and dip the ends of
I did notice.
Dip the ends of your hair in it, and you could always tell if you did Kool-Aid dye because you just had this ratty looking piece of hair that was pink, like 6 inches. And that looks like Jericho's hair.
Yeah, this is a strange look. Just like the end of his ponytail is red.
Yes. So the whole time I was thinking, did he Kool-Aid dye his hair? He may have.
Maybe he was just starting to dabble in being a rock star, but he didn't want to go full.
Yeah. He has an odd look. He looks like he hasn't showered in a few days.
Oh my God. Jericho uses the ropes to his advantage to win. And then we have a little after-match thing where Jericho goes for a false handshake, then tries to do the whole, going after Cena. Cena counters. And that's that.
It was pretty good. I mean, you can tell Cena's got years of good matches in him. He's a fun one to watch.
Yep. Still has to work on the out of the ring stuff, but he's well on his way.
Yeah. I think you can see it like in his face. Some people, sometimes Roman Reigns and people of that variety, I would say, in that group, when they're in the ring, their face is kind of flat. And I don't mean to say that they're like boring or whatever, but as opposed to John Cena, like he just has that like glimmer in his eye. Like he is there, he's very present, which I think will add to his stardom as the years go on.
I agreed with the last part of that statement, but I don't know what you were inferring there by disrespecting our tribal chief.
No, it's just I would say some wrestlers, I don't know. It's like they're going through the motions. It's like any performer.
Yeah.
But then every once in a while you have those performers like The Rock, like John Cena, honestly like LA Knight a little bit. Little shout out to my boy, yeah. Where like they're just so in it. Like their eyes are so intense, and whether they're on the mic or even just wrestling, they're giving it their all. And I think, I mean, obviously
they're emotive, like with their face and their actions.
Yes, they're in it. Yeah. So
I could see that.
I look forward to seeing his progression.
We've got Rey Mysterio being teased again.
Yeah, again. He is coming, and I wish he would already come on because we are waiting for him.
Maybe after Vengeance.
Gosh, okay.
Probably.
Rey Mysterio is over here on an island sipping a cocktail, just being like, y'all call me when you're ready.
I'm sure he's ready to get in there, but they're probably like, let's start this after Vengeance.
Let's give him a promo.
We've got the first of... Okay, we've got a couple of doozies here.
We got some doozies.
A few doozies.
We got some double doozies.
We've got Divas... flashback to Divas Undressed, where they...
Had like awarded, a pageant?
They awarded the Golden Thong Award trophy to Tori Wilson. And Stacy Keibler is not happy about it. Mm-hmm. And there was a little cat fight.
I'll save you the research to summarize. Those two blonde, pretty little girls, they look the same. They might as well be the same.
One of them is a Hall of Famer, though. Stacy Keibler is a Hall of Famer as of this year. I think she develops. Give her a chance.
All right.
She's a little... from what I recall, anyway, she's a little bit more than meets the eye.
Okay.
Can't say the same for all of these divas, but...
Yeah.
Well, and this also sets up our first bra and panties match of...
Ruthless Aggression.
Our show so far, yeah. So that's going to be fun. But first, we have an interesting segment with our cruiserweight champion Jamie Noble. Mm-hmm. He's taking his girlfriend Nydia to
the trailer park.
The trailer park. Apparently, his poor Aunt Edna just kicked the bucket, so he's got a new truck and a new trailer. And it's got running water.
This was a really detailed, like, off-site skit. I was kind of surprised at just how much, like, I would assume time and energy was going into just having this really silly skit.
Maybe that was his real house.
I don't think so. I don't think so. But it was odd.
This feels like a Vince thing.
Yeah.
Like making fun of poor people, basically.
Yeah.
I just know he was like cackling.
Yeah.
Whenever this happened.
Look at this dumb trailer trash.
Mm-hmm.
They're excited for running water. Isn't that hilarious?
And a full-size bed.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Meanwhile, all of middle class and lower class America was like, all right.
Yeah. It's like, huh? In this housing market, you know.
In this economy, never. Was there any resolution at the end of that skit? They were in the trailer?
There's nothing. It's just character development, I guess.
Yeah. But that's what I like with these skits. Like, that is the pro, is that they are really developing, propelling things.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes you want to root for Jamie Noble because you want him to keep that cruiserweight belt so he keeps the money flowing.
Yeah. He's pretty cool. I mean...
He's funny, at least. I mean, he plays the character well.
Yeah.
Regardless of what you think about the character. Okay, we got our bra and panties match up next. Stacy versus Tori.
Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, shockingly, silly assumption I made was that they were actually going to fight in their bra and panties, but it turns out
it's the other way around.
They fight in their clothes, but you lose if your clothes are taken off.
If you're stripped down to your bra and panties, so you got to take off the top and take off the shorts. Which I had obviously very, very low expectations for this match. There were a few wrestling moves in there at least.
Yeah, a few. It still feels a little like it leans porny sometimes.
It's a sideshow.
Yeah.
Crowd was not really into it other than whenever clothes were coming off.
Sure.
They were just dead. Like, it felt like a halftime show kind of thing.
Yeah. The crowd was like, well, I'm going to go take a little pee break and I'll be back.
Yep. Good time to take a bathroom break. Yeah. But for whatever it's worth, Tori wins quite handily. Up next, we got a little backstage segment before our main event. Taker he's really pushing The Rock coming back next week.
We get it, Taker. You want to take on the big boy Rock.
He's obsessed.
You want to be in those highlights. You want to be the popular man.
He had this weird metaphor for, like, if you're in a foxhole, who do you want? Do you want an American badass, or do you want a jabroni? I don't know what he said about The Rock. But it was a little hard to follow. But
it was so hard to follow because you had him making some weird questions and comparisons. You had referrals to his fist as a soup bone. I've never heard of somebody's fist being called a soup bone before. And then you had the interviewer, who's a good 2 foot shorter than him, trying to follow him with the mic as he talks. It was so distracting. So I didn't hear a word he said.
Well, that's okay, because we got a big main event.
Yeah.
We've got
huge.
The Undertaker versus Kurt Angle. And wow, I thought this was like a pay-per-view level. Like, it was incredible match. One of the best that we've seen so far.
It was really good.
Yeah.
And partially why I was like, man, Kurt Angle is pretty awesome. He fights so well.
He has good matches with everybody too.
Yes. And I'll harp on this too. Like, I think in the past I've seen some Undertaker matches, even in some that we've talked about, where, again, it's tough to sell with a really tall man. And Kurt Angle just does an amazing job. It's like he knows when to sell it, but don't sell it too much. Don't make it look like he's beating down on you, because the man's 2 foot taller than him. So of course, like, if they were, going at it realistically, he'd beat the shit out of him. But he sells it so well.
They both, like, they nailed the powerhouse versus technician very just perfectly. Like, Undertaker just for the first part of that match just looked dominant, and really throughout the whole thing looked like, he could handle Kurt whenever he wanted to. Like, you're not going to move Undertaker, but what Angle was doing is he would just counter everything. Like, he countered I've never seen somebody counter a tombstone to an ankle lock. And so he did that. Undertaker went for a boot, and then he ducked and countered that into an ankle slam. He had the ankle lock on there for a while. Undertaker didn't quite tap out this time. Another counter, last ride to a triangle choke. That one was crazy. And that actually brings us to the finish, which was a disputed finish.
Yeah. First time there's so many firsts in the past 3-4 episodes. It's like every episode has a first for me. Sorry to cut you off.
No, yeah.
It's like a draw. Like,
it was a draw. So what happened was Undertaker. Well, yeah. So Undertaker had Kurt on a last ride. Kurt countered it into a triangle choke, so he had his legs around his neck. So they both go down, and basically Kurt's shoulders are down. So the ref starts to count 1, 2, 3, and then as the ref counts 3, Taker starts tapping.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Simultaneous,
calls,
both submission and pinfall. At the same time. So
I didn't even think that was possible, I guess, or wouldn't have thought that was possible. But it feels like the creativity of match endings and match results is really high in this time of wrestling. Like, even in these 2 weeks, I'm seeing different things every week versus like modern day wrestling. It's
a lot of the same stuff.
It's the same stuff over and over again. I thought it was really interesting. I love seeing wrestlers like Kurt was doing when the Undertaker was pinning him, where he had his shoulders on the mat, but pretty much the rest of his body was like lifted up, pushing against the Undertaker. He works his body so well. Like you can see his skill. It's so fun to watch.
Yeah, and Kurt puts on another ankle lock after they announce the draw, because even though it's a draw, the champ retains.
Yeah,
got the champion's advantage. But yeah, on the Kurt thing, he's the total package. He's got the Olympic gold medal, maybe two. He wears like 2 medals.
Yeah, he wears 2. They look like the discount ones you could get at the dollar store. I'm sure he's probably got his actual medals at home somewhere put up. I would hope.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like I've heard or saw that like they were real, but I don't know.
This man out here just raw wearing the 2 gold medals.
Why not?
Yeah.
They're all about. I mean, that's the whole thing. Like it brings authenticity to it.
Yeah.
And he's got like all those skills aren't just for him to say that he's an Olympic gold medalist. Like he actually, those skills carry over into sports entertainment wrestling too. With all these counters and stuff, it's really fun to watch. He always puts on a good entertaining match.
Yeah.
And he's got the charisma outside of the ring too. So he's just so well-rounded.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a fun one. I have a bold claim to make.
Okay.
I think what I really enjoy about watching Matt Riddle wrestle is a lot of those same attributes. He might not be quite as good on the mic, let's say. I know Riddle's no Kurt Angle. Don't get me wrong.
We're going to get some hate mail.
Don't get me wrong.
At our Gmail address.
Pump the brakes. I know Riddle is no Kurt Angle, but I think their wrestling style is very similar. Riddle's a little bit taller, so he can work his body a little bit differently, but the scrappiness in what I love that kind of wrestler. I think it makes for such an entertaining match to see a more technical side. So I'm seeing that a little bit more, going back and seeing Kurt Angle. I'm like, this is why I like Matt Riddle so much present day, because the fight style is very similar. It's
I would say the style is different, but I know what you're saying. Like Riddle has an MMA background.
Yeah.
Seems like a kickboxing or something.
Yeah, he does do a lot of kicks.
And he brings like all of that into his in-ring style.
Yeah.
And is very convincing.
Yes.
So
they know how to work their bodies very well. Whereas I think it perhaps a disadvantage of Taker, while he does have a lot of good moves, he is so tall. Your center of gravity is so high that he can't quite be as limber. So he moves either a little bit slower or a little differently, versus I love to see like the little scrappy guys just kind of crawling all over him and like making those moves.
Chad Gable is another one in the modern.
He's great.
Yep.
He's fun. He's fun. I wish he had more screen time, but
maybe, yeah.
Another potentially controversial statement is I don't think Gable can progress very far so long as he's in that tag team.
Okay, let's say that for our next segment. We're going to wrap up our SmackDown. You have anything else for SmackDown tonight? I mean, it looks like we're setting up looks like we're going to probably be inserting Angle into the Undertaker versus The Rock at Vengeance. I think that's probably where this is headed.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have a triple threat match.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we'll find out next week.
Sure, we'll probably see John Cena come around again. Maybe Rey Mysterio will. Oh, wait. So is Vengeance next?
No, we still have. We're only 2 weeks in, so I think we have 2 more weeks of weekly shows.
Gotcha. Okay.
Before Vengeance.
Yeah, I'm having fun. There is matches. There is new people. It's fun.
Okay. Well, I think that does it for the SmackDown segment.
Okay.
A little bit of business that I meant to cover at the beginning. We're debating doing like combined episodes. Mm-hmm. So next week we may do Raw and SmackDown simultaneously in the same episode. Just kind of trying different things. Maybe that'll help us move a little faster. But yeah, just something to look out for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm enjoying the ride. I feel like every episode thus far, we're on 6, you said?
Yeah.
Every episode has had something that's like, oh, that's different, or that's new. So it's not like going back and watching the same old episode 6 times in a row. It's fun.
All right, let us take a quick break, and then we'll be back to talk about Money in the Bank and other modern day shenanigans.
Okay.
All right, so let's talk about our belated Money in the Bank thoughts.
Mm-hmm. MITB.
Yeah.
London, UK.
Anywhere in particular you want to start, or you want to take this? I guess, the obvious place to start is men's Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
First match of the night.
Yeah, they opened up right with it.
Yeah. I guess they did that just so whoever wins has a chance to cash in.
Yeah.
Later in the night, so just may as well just get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Thoughts on Damian Priest winning? I think I know.
Yeah. But I'm trying not to be too sour, because I understand, or I'm coming to understand with the wrestling world, it's not always what the fans want. It's going to play out however they have constructed it to play out. I will say, like, it was tough to see a wrestler win it that felt already pretty high on the chopping block. And it just seems like such a great opportunity to take like a lower or a mid guy and push them up a little bit. It's not really a championship, of course, but it's almost the next best thing. It's like here's a little teaser treat.
And that's what they usually do. That's what they did in the women's with Io Sky.
Yeah, like that came out of nowhere. It felt like to me.
I guess they're just trying to push Judgment Day. With the bloodline kind of being over and crumbling, I guess Judgment Day is like their next big heel faction. So they got to have. They're trying. I guarantee they're going to try and mirror things a little bit from the bloodline to Judgment Day.
Yes.
So I think
I see where it's going, and I don't like the direction, but I'm trying to hang on.
My biggest problem, like I like Damian Priest, and he did a great job at Backlash, put on a great match with Bad Bunny. Mm-hmm. So maybe this is a little bit of like belated payment for that in a weird way.
I don't know.
But my biggest problem with it is he lost the World Heavyweight Championship qualifier match.
Yeah.
Which, okay, that was a triple threat. Then he had an actual title shot one-on-one with Seth Rollins, and he lost that too.
Yeah, it's
I believe it was like completely a clean win. So like, what is this guy going to do? He's going to try and steal it off of Seth. I just feel like
they could have. I know. Yeah, it's like, why not just wait a little bit, do a rematch, revisit that, which they do all the time, and give the suitcase to someone else. I'm almost was like, what? Why do we even watch this then? He's just going to redo the match with Seth. So, like, what's the point?
They clearly knew. Well, first of all, we should talk about Logan Paul, because I almost convinced myself he was going to win. We talked about this beforehand, and you were not happy about it. I thought there was a chance, if Triple H and the WWE was just totally shameless, like let Logan Paul win this thing, carry it around for a month, cash it in at SummerSlam,
and lose.
and you get, and then WWE gets maybe like a month of free publicity or something.
I have to say, I'm going to say it here now for the first time.
Okay, sorry.
With my tail tucked between my legs, I kind of think that would have been a better story than Damian Priest.
I'll take it even further. I think they could have done that and then have him cash it in on the same night, win the belt.
I don't want to go that far.
For a month. And we talked about this, but have him win it for a month, carry around the belt for a month. He'll make headlines and then drop it at SummerSlam.
Now, that's what maybe a smart guy in the story department would do. But you got 4 other old guys that are like, yeah, but the Judgment Day. We have to keep it with the Judgment Day. And factions are fine. Groups are fine. But when the entire freaking episode and championships and intermission videos, everything becomes about that group, I'm like, dude, do something else. That's what the Bloodline became for me. Like, if it was one thing in the corner, cool. But it's the entire episode. Like, that's not what WWE revolves around. Just do something else.
Yeah, I'm a little worried they're going to do that.
Yeah.
They do like to do the powerhouse heel factions that are always meddling. But, I mean, they do have an interesting little rivalry. I think this happened in the same night. Yeah, later in the night, Finn Balor loses to Seth Rollins, mostly because Damian Priest was out there with the briefcase, kind of threatening to cash it in at any point.
Yeah.
So there is already some kind of tension in the Judgment Day. I don't know how that's going to play out, but let's talk about first. I want to talk about LA Knight because we haven't even said his name.
We haven't even broached the topic.
Mostly because it's painful because he really should have won this match, and I know
we're bitter about it.
WWE doesn't like to push the guy or gal who's
the fan favorite.
Who's the fan favorite and hasn't been around too long, even though LA Knight's had a history, but LA Knight, the character, has been around for like 6 months.
That makes it really tough, I'm going to say, for a casual wrestling fan.
I agree.
It makes it really tough because you're rooting for this guy or girl or whatever who, again, is lower to mid, not a superstar, still relatively new-ish, and you're rooting for them. But it's like, who cares? Let's focus on the Judgment Day. Do something else, man.
I agree. It is tough to be a WWE fan who roots for the good guys. Yeah. Well, even though LA Knight's not even a good guy either.
Yeah.
He's what they call a tweener.
Oh, a little tweener.
He's a tweener. Kind of an in-betweener.
Yeah. But he's so fun. He's so fun to watch. I mean, clearly the crowd was loving him.
Electric.
They were going insane. And speaking of convincing ourselves, briefly for a moment, I was like, this son of a bitch is going to do it. Like, he might actually do it.
They teased it.
Hard.
He was up there. You don't see this much. He took the little clasp, the little carabiner, and actually pinched it in. Like, all he had to do is grab the briefcase and take it off. And it didn't happen. Damian was there.
I got freaking Cody Rhodes WrestleMania PTSD watching that.
It's the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
We got to get something. As fans, we need something at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Like, we cannot wait until WrestleMania for any of our favorites to win. And even last year at WrestleMania, our favorite didn't win. So you got to throw the fans some bones every now and then.
It's like I don't want to make that. I was almost going to say it's like an abusive relationship, but I don't want to go that far.
I guess in their minds, it's like Seth Rollins being the champ is the bone, but
well, that's true.
Don't get me wrong. I like Seth and I like him with the belt, but didn't feel he didn't overcome anything to get there. I mean, okay, that's maybe stronger than I meant. Let me walk that back. Let me walk that back a little bit. He didn't beat anybody that great to get the belt.
I see what you're saying, but
he didn't beat Roman. He didn't overcome.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I mean, I know he won. He won it fairly and squarely.
But it's been a long rise to the top, wouldn't you say?
Yes, and he beat AJ Styles for it, which he's good, but he didn't climb a mountain to get there.
Yeah, but he's been climbing them hills for years. He finally made it. Bless his heart. He
deserves it.
Yeah,
I didn't mean to go on that tangent.
He does. But to wrap that up, to make a final point about the Judgment Day, because I just can't quite get over it. You mentioned you like Damian Priest as a wrestler, and I agree. I actually do like Damian Priest, and I like Finn Balor too. But I don't like that they keep trying to hold the Judgment Day together because they want to package them together. Let me like a wrestler that's independent, and that's why I like Seth Rollins a lot too, because while he may not have climbed a big mountain to get there, he's his own man. He's not got a clan, clique, group. And Cody, of course. And Brock. Love him.
Riddle.
And Riddle. They're just doing, well, I guess he's with Sami Zayn.
Not really.
Yeah.
He's been getting his ass kicked and nobody's helping him, so.
He does his own. Wait, somebody came in, who helped him last week? Wasn't it it was an older guy? Help me out here. Who is helping Riddle this coming Monday? It's somebody that came. It was an older guy who.
Sorry, I'm blanking.
But somebody came out this past week.
Okay, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Well, it may come to me later. Okay. We can talk about his match versus Gunther. Any thoughts on that match? I mean, I don't think Riddle was ever going to win this. But
no, being a Riddle fan is so hard.
Yeah, so we are LA Knight fans. We're Riddle fans. We're Cody Rhodes fans. It's been kind of a rough.
It's rough out here.
It's been a rough 6 months.
Yeah, you knew. I mean, yeah, you knew that Riddle wasn't going to win, but it was a good match. I felt. I really like watching Riddle fight. He had the braids, right?
He did. He did have the braids.
Yeah.
I don't remember much about this match, if I'm being honest. I don't think Riddle's been at his best since post suspension. I don't know. He's not quite as crisp in ring as he was. I don't really know why that is. Because my favorite match of his was the Fight Pit match with Seth Rollins at Extreme Rules last year. Mm-hmm. I feel like he kind of peaked there, and since he came back from suspension, I just haven't really seen the same crispness from him.
Yeah, and then I'll see these Instagram videos of him. I'm gonna go on a tangent because I have a soft spot for Riddle. I don't know the man personally. It's the character,
He's very likable.
I have a soft spot for the character. He's very likable, and he's just so off the wall. I love how different he is. I love that his wrestling style is different. And anyways, what I was saying is I go on Instagram and I see these posts about him, and all the comments are just dogging him.
Yeah, I see the same. I don't understand it.
I don't understand. I think people don't like the graphics, the animals that fly out and stuff. They're like, it's so stupid and dumb. But that's what's fun about it.
I don't get it. He's just unapologetically himself and authentic. I don't know how you could not like that.
I don't know.
They're starting to do the same thing with Bianca too, where they don't like Bianca because she's too dominant and she's boring and all this. I just think she's far and away the best women's wrestler.
Yes, she is. That's the exact same people who salivate over the bloodline. Oh my God, the bloodline's going to go to court today. Big
Okay, whoop. You lost me.
I know. That's okay. I'll stand on that hill alone.
You lost me.
I'll stand on that hill alone.
Women's Tag Team Championship match. That was a weird one. Raquel and Liv Morgan retained their championship. They win it back. The ones that they never lost because Liv was injured. And mid-match, Shayna Baszler turns on Ronda Rousey. And that's kind of how that ends. Seems like they're having to fast track this rivalry, this dispute, because I think Ronda's on her way out of the company soon. So it sounds like we're going to get this at SummerSlam.
I don't give two peas in a pod about Ronda Rousey and Baszler.
Okay,
it's just not.
Let's move on then.
No, I mean, I'm not saying I don't care to like review it. I think we're lacking a lot of development in that storyline, so it's hard to.
It's very rushed.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to come out better for that. Although I will say, was it Monday night? Yeah, Shayna and Ronda did have a promo they cut out in the ring. It was very good. I would say.
Oh.
Shayna was just talking about how, like, you didn't work for this. You know, you walked in the door and got a WrestleMania spot. I worked for this. I love this. It was pretty good. You know, as far as, like, I'm also not a big fan of either. So it is what it is. We'll see.
Drew McIntyre was the guy that I was trying to remember that came out.
An older guy. Oh my God.
Well, I meant an established guy, like not a new guy. But I was
looking. Yeah, Drew. That could be an interesting duo.
It could be. Let's not hold our breath too much, but it could be. I was looking at the Bleacher Report summation and like rating of the matches. On that particular segment, they say the birds that flew out of Riddle's butt this week were eagles.
I don't know that they fly out of his ass.
His butt. I don't know. He's got so many haters. Anyway.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he just rubs some people the wrong way because I think he's great. But
yeah. He's not the wrestler the people want. He's the wrestler the people need.
I don't know, but it's not looking good for us fans of Riddle.
Yeah.
He's kind of stuck.
We're used to disappointment at this point when it comes to him. But what else we got next? The women's match?
Yeah, we had the John Cena thing, which was weird. I don't know. We need to talk about that too much. This was totally unexpected. And it was basically just a one-on-one kind of segment with Grayson Waller. He came out too, and we got an attitude adjustment. I don't know. Maybe this was just to boost Grayson Waller.
Grayson Waller.
He's getting a push.
Something's pushing that boy.
He just fought Edge tonight. He did lose, but he got the respect. So
next week he'll be in the ring with Brock Lesnar, and Brock will be like, "You know what, kid? You're okay." Like there's gonna be something weird like that.
Yeah, he'll say, "Get a life, kid."
Yeah,
that's like the best. I wish they had a shirt that said "Get a life, kid" with Brock. Do you remember that?
No, who did he say that to? Cody?
No, he said it to Mustafa Ali. So Ali was just like giving an interview on his match at Crown Jewel. And just in the middle of it, Brock walks by and opens the curtain to go out to the ring. And he's like, "Get a life, kid." And Mustafa was just like, "All right." It's great.
And that's why we love Brock too. Okay, so
what else we got? We got the women's Money in the Bank. Let's talk about Io Sky. I know you're a big fan.
She's okay. At least, I mean, the silver lining for that is that the briefcase was given to a more, I don't want to say lesser known, developing. Yeah. I mean, I know she's well known. She's been in Damage Control and she's had a ton of matches and whatever, but she's not like gone further necessarily as far as her ranking, I guess you could say. So positive in that she was given that. Negative in that, you know. I think, like, to me, if you're looking at the women's versus the men's match, I think I'm still so surprised that they gave it to Damian Priest, because with the females match, it could have been the same thing to me would have been that they gave it to Becky. Mm-hmm. Which, like, I know you made the point of like, well, she's gotten it before and whatever, and that's great.
No, she's never won this, actually. She's never won Money in the Bank.
Oh, well, who was it that you were saying? I thought you said another woman had gotten it. Oh, okay.
No.
Well, so to me, it would have been like Becky getting the briefcase. You would have been like, well, she's kind of, she's already up there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess there wasn't really a better option unless you give it to Zoe Stark or...
Yeah, she's too new.
Or Zelina Vega, which I just don't... I mean, Zoe Stark is... I could see her as a threat soon, but she's kind of intermingled in this Trish and Becky storyline.
Yeah.
So I don't think she's getting out of that. But, I mean, Io Sky, I think, was a decent choice here.
Yeah.
I liked the ending. So you had Io... she handcuffed Becky and Bailey, I think, like in between the ladder so they couldn't climb up, and then climbed up over top of Bailey to get the briefcase. I thought it was decent. Long term, I don't really see Io being the champ for a long time. Maybe she'll have like a short run.
I think she's going to cash it in with Asuka and try to do something there, but
maybe. I wouldn't. I would just wait till like somebody's, the champ is just out of it.
We've established what the layperson would do is not going to be what WWE does.
Well, they've done that before though.
Yeah.
So we can talk a little about SmackDown tonight. She tried to cash it in tonight against Asuka as she was getting beaten down, but it didn't work out because we have Charlotte intermingled in all this. We have Bianca. So a lot going on in the women's division on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's rare that they execute the women's portion better than the men's, but I dare say that may have been what happened in Money in the Bank. At least I'm more pleased with the result. It's more like I think that's what should have happened versus the men's had like great moves, great moments. The Logan Paul Ricochet thing. Ricochet always puts on a show. I mean, he's such a great performer, but ultimately the result was like, oh, okay.
Kind of the most boring result.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Give it to anybody. Logan Paul, Ricochet,
I just think LA Knight, not to harp on it, but LA Knight carrying around that briefcase for the next few months at least, I think would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Because if you're not going to give him a belt, give him the briefcase and just have him be that constant, like, annoying threat. That would have been great, but we'll see. Maybe they'll put him in with the United States Championship or something. Maybe they'll take it off Austin Theory finally.
Oh, now that might be interesting.
Yeah.
But again, since we want that to happen, that won't be what happens. But
probably not. It's like WWE likes to zag.
Yes, for sure. They are not going to give you what you're wanting. But next Friday, did we hit them all?
No, we still got a couple more.
Okay.
I mean, we can briefly. I mean, Rollins retained.
Yeah.
We already covered the ending of that one.
Oh, Rhea and...
well, Damien was out there.
Didn't Rhea fight Natalia once again?
No, that wasn't. That was on Raw. Yeah.
I keep getting those mixed up.
And we got to talk about, or I'll talk about, you don't have to, but the Bloodline Civil War.
I forgot all about that.
Yeah. The Usos versus Roman Reigns and Solo. I mean, big result. The Usos win, but they don't only win, they pin, or Jay specifically pins Roman Reigns for the first time in 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm. A lot of ball shots.
They didn't mention his name, but the last person to pin Roman was Baron Corbin, of all people.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. We just watched SmackDown as well with Tribal Court. Lots of stuff going on with the Bloodline. Seems like we're headed toward probably Jay versus Roman at SummerSlam.
The four of them will do whatever combination they can. 2v2, 1v1, 3v3 if they can get another guy in there. They'll just kind of keep plowing that same trench every few weeks.
It's a good story.
Okay.
We'll
agree to disagree.
How was the what'd you think about Money in the Bank overall?
I've seen better.
I would agree. I think some people were really into it, especially after that last match. There was a lot of false finishes. There was Roman stacked up the Usos, and I was convinced for sure that match was over at that point. So it did that last match. I think we've said this before, but how you end kind of paints the whole event in a certain light. Like with WrestleMania for us, I look back on it as kind of disappointing, even though it was a great WrestleMania up until the main event. I think it was kind of the opposite here, where it was, to me, like not the strongest pay-per-view or PLE that we've seen, but that last match I think really drew people in. So, but I tend to agree. I think I've seen better. I think Backlash was better. Night of Champions was kind of on the same level, I want to say. It was kind of the same thing of like, you ended with a bloodline thing, so people are going to go crazy for it, but overall kind of meh. Yeah. But we got SummerSlam.
SummerSlam coming up.
And we will be there in person for SmackDown next week.
Yeah.
In Raleigh, North Carolina. So probably we'll have a little podcast on that. Maybe talk about our experiences. Maybe we'll post some stuff on socials now that we have them.
Yeah, it'd be fun to recap. Live shows are always fun. Hoping we get to see our boy LA Knight.
Yeah.
Rock our new merch. And have a few drinks. You really can't go wrong.
Well, with that, we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening to the Ruthless Aggression podcast.
Catch you next time. Bye.